What's going on, everyone? I'm back with another quick video. On this one, I wanted to separate this video just to try to keep things a little separated. The previous one, we did all the bushings on this car. Now I want to do the wheel bearings, new front wheel bearing, new rear wheel bearing, and new ball joints. So all of this should be pretty straightforward on how to do it, but I want to show you guys just in case you've never done it before and just how to do it. You know, you could do this all on your own. You don't need a press. In my case, I have one here. I'm going to be using the press, and I'm also using my vise that I have there. But they also sell ball joint tools, wheel bearing tools that you can rent from an auto parts store. I'm just doing it this way. So let me show you what I got, because we're continuing with more hard race parts. So we have the front spindle out. All that was taken out when we were doing the the bushings install. So I wanted to keep this separate. For the rear wheel bearing, I just went ahead and I got just a TRQ brand. It's something quick. I'm not too worried about it. This you get is one whole unit. All right, so you get that. This is very easy to install. Literally one center bolt, which is a 32 mil, comes off. Put the new one on, and you're done. For ball joints, we're using the hard race ball joints. So there's your part number. This is a OE replacement ball joint, so it's not like it's an extended one. I think they call them extended ones. Carter's here still. Do you know what they called them? The ball joints that are taller. There's the name.
Roll center.
Roll center. Yes, thank you. So this is not a roll center. This is just a OE replacement hard race hardened ball joint. And then for the front, I have a new front hub. And then I have a NSK or a Koyo wheel bearing. I wanted to make sure I had a good wheel bearing. So I'm going to show you how to do all that. First thing, you get your hub. You get your whole spindle out. You need to get your hub off. The way you do that is a few ways. Some people will use, if this is still on the car like that, what they'll do is they'll put like a slide hammer attachment and they'll slide the whole thing off so they can get this hub off. Basically, you have to pull this whole section off. The way I've always done it is I put it in a vise and I would get a socket that fits in here so it would fit the diameter of this, and I would just beat it until I beat that center section out. Once you get the hub off, you turn this upside down and then you can get to the snap ring of the wheel bearing. So let's get this off and then we'll move from there. Okay, so there we go. It takes a while, and the bigger the hammer, the easier you'll get this out. We're not reusing this. If you were reusing this hub, you have to cut this race off from the bearing. I didn't want to deal with all that, so that's why I got a new hub and a new bearing. So we got that there. Now we'll turn this upside down. And then we got our snap ring right in here. So we're going to get our snap ring pliers. We may need to use a chisel on it just to loosen this, all the rust. Take this off. The way where your snap ring sits is the way your bearing comes out. So because I have the snap ring on this side, the bearing is coming out from this side. So when you install it, it goes back this way. Sometimes some people don't know which way to press it out. Wherever your snap ring is, that's the way the bearing comes out, and the same way it goes back in. So let me loosen this up, and then we're going to go to the press and press this out. So we got the snap ring out. As you guys saw, it took me a little bit to work it out. What I was doing was using the snap ring pliers to pretty much compress it. Then I'd get the flathead on the back. And once I got this to pop out, all I did was grab the closest thing I had to hold it on top. Just so when I did pop it up enough, as you saw, it jumped. It didn't really hit me in the face. Like, I had some control on it, but it still jumped out. It's just try to be careful. So now that we got that out, we have to take this to our press because, like I said, the bearing comes out this way. So we're going to turn this upside down and press it down. So we're going to find another adapter to fit in here, press this bearing out, then we'll clean the inside. So to start, to get this bearing out, I'm going to keep it flat. You don't want to keep it flat because it needs to come out. But for now, the first initial press, it's going to pop a lot. So I want to keep it flat just to get it going. I have a bearing install kit or a seal driver kit that I'm using one of the adapters from. This adapter, as you can see, fits perfect right in there to get the bearing started to move. So we're going to do that. We're just going to put that right there. Well, no, we're going to add our socket to give it a little more height. This socket is just a 1 7/8. I'm just using it to give me more height. Then we're going to go like this, and we're going to start pressing. Same thing, just remember you're feeling. So once you feel the initial pop, just go a little bit until it gets tight again, because obviously the bearing bottomed out, and then we're going to have to change our setup. So that's what I was saying, that initial pop, it's always the hardest. So now I'm going, bearing's moving, and I'm bottomed out right there. So now let's change all this up. Yeah, so you guys can see right there how the bearing is flush. So what I'm going to do, because that initial press, it took almost all the force of that, I didn't want to use this because I know it would split it. But now is not as much pressure. So we're going to put that on the open cup side, sit that in there. Put our bearing back. Now we could just use our socket, and that should be enough. Okay, there we go. We got our bearing out, so we're just going to clean the rest up in here. But before I do that, I want to press our ball joint out. So before we press that out, there's another snap ring on here we have to take off. So as you guys can see, this was a kind of a weird setup that I had to make, but all I did was grab some bar to go through one of the strut bolts, the holes for the strut bolts, hold it on the edge without catching where the ball joint was coming out, and just go slowly and you'll get it out. So now we're all set. What I'm going to put in first, we're going to put the wheel bearing back in. And so in order to do that, this could be flat. If you guys remember, we're going to go something like this. We got to find our orientation that's going to hold it flat. We're going to put some different lube for the wheel bearing. So what I use for wheel bearings is this Red Line CV2. You can use any wheel bearing grease, but I'm going to put this in here because this is pretty clean. I don't have to really touch that. Put it on our new wheel bearing, and then we're going to put our hub on. So now we're at the point of pressing the bearing back in. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to use the old bearing on the bottom to hold it, to sit up like that. And then because I did the other wheel bearing already, I have another one. I'm going to use this as kind of my press. If you don't have something, it's going to be the same thing like we did with the bushings. Find something that presses on your outer race and make sure that it starts centered and straight, and then you just start pressing down. Okay. So you're going to press this bearing in all the way, first of all, until you see it bottom out at the bottom. But second, you got to make sure that you got the groove for your snap ring. Once you got that groove, you know you're seated all the way, then you can put your snap ring in, then we can put our hub. Before I put the hub on, I want to put the snap ring, then I want to put my ball joint in. I'll put the hub in last. We got our new hub. We're about to press it into our new wheel bearing. Before we do that, I want to take the studs that came with it, pop them out, and I want to put my ARP extended studs. I was about to do that until I ran into a problem. So I should just say these are aftermarket hubs. They're not from Acura. It's a 36 mil spline. It's just a hub, and I'm not using the studs. So I didn't really feel the need to get an Acura one. Well, when I got my extended stud that I took out and I went, it doesn't fit at all. So it's not like it's because it's used. I had a new stud. I put it in there. It's the same thing. So, Carter, you tell me if you can see that on camera. The size difference. Mm-hmm. You can see it. So this is a lot bigger than this one. So for some reason, even though this is meant for an RSX Type S, they gave me what they call the neural edge. So this is where these are that press into here, a lot bigger. The size of these, I don't remember what I had to measure. So what I ended up doing, right? I measured the two. I went to ARP and I wanted to see who had a stud with the same diameter of this neural edge. And what did I find? I found one. So now we're going to go against the camera again. And you can see they're both pretty much the same. Am I too close or are we good?
No, you're good.
All right, so they're both the same. Small differences in this stud. This stud is slightly longer than the one that I took out for the Hondas. And the neural edges on them, the new one is a little shorter. So Carter actually pulled it up right here. Let me see. 5, okay, I need 565, okay. So the Honda ones are 0.485. I don't even remember what that said. The new one is a 0.565, right? So now the question is, what stud is this? So I got you. Part number is right here. These are from an Evo. All right, so you got that? All right. So these are for the Evo 8. And like I said, they're slightly longer, but everything else, they're the same thread pitch. And the knurls are slightly shorter, but it works. We kind of already did it on this front one. We tested it. Everything is good. So now I'll grab it. I'll put it. And you can see now it's actually going to bite. It's not going to fall out like the Honda ones where they don't fit at all. I don't know why these are bigger, but this fits on my axle fine. So everything else is fine. I just needed to get different studs. And so if you guys run into this where your studs don't fit, all you're going to do is just grab a caliper or a micrometer, whatever you got. You're going to measure the diameter from here and measure the one that you got. Go on ARP, look at all this, the neural size. All right, so you want to see the neural edge, what size that is, and you'll find it. I'm going to finish pressing all these out, put our Evo ones on, and then we're going to go to the press, and then this just presses right in, and this is all done. You tell me if I forgot something, right?
Forgot what?
I'm just saying you would tell me.
If I remember.
All right. There we go. We're all set. We already got our ball joint in, like I showed you guys. This one came right in, and then you put your snap ring on. It's the opposite of what you did, but that's it. Now we're gonna do the rear wheel bearing real quick, and we're done. So I kind of jumped ahead for you guys, just came off really quick. So I'm going to take the new one off and show you. You're gonna loosen. Well, first there's a dust cap. Okay, you pop your dust cap off. Then you have a 32 millimeter. So you're gonna loosen that up. You literally grab the bearing and you just walk it off. So like I said, this is the new one. I put extended studs on the rears as well. They're just like the fronts, except these actually fit the Honda size fit on here. So you get it. You put your high pressure axle lube or wheel bearing lube. You put it all on it. Then you line it up. It might not go on easy, so you just give it a couple taps. Get that going. Put that back on. Torque it to whatever the torque spec is. I don't know what it is offhand right now. I'm just kind of all over. I don't even have a torque wrench with me. When I bring that, I'm going to go torque everything. But that's it. And then you got a rear wheel bearing. And hopefully a new one gives you less drag. We got the front ball joints done. You guys saw that. We got the wheel bearings in. We got the rear wheel bearings in. I showed you what wheel studs I had to use for the front. If you get the aftermarket hubs and the original wheel studs don't fit, those Evo ones will fit fine. Carter was kind of knocking some stuff out for me. So he's got this front spindle all together. We're waiting to put the coilovers on and stuff, but that's all good to go. Carter, he put, yeah, so he's got the lower control arm there. Here's a better look. You can see everything is all put together now. I'm happy with this. In the last video, I kind of talked about it. I can't put the rear wheel bearing on yet. I need some studs for that. But Carter was able to get this one going. So this is all put together. And I just got to get my brake tool for that so I can button the back end of this up. And I also spoke about the coilovers in the last video. So we're waiting on that. But this was just a short and a quick video for you guys. Just if you've never done ball joints or wheel bearings or nothing like that, you could do it at home. You don't have to pay a shop, but if you don't feel comfortable doing it, maybe get the shop to at least do your wheel bearings and you could do your ball joints on your own. So that's just another update in today's video. I will catch you guys in the next one. The next one, hopefully, I don't know. I got our list. I still got to do the steering rack. I'm running out of time. Here, me and Carter were working late nights, trying to work late nights, but we're getting tired. And so I don't think some things are going to get done. All right, let's look at this list. So we got through most of this. The coilovers, this was a mess up. This still needs to get done. Steering rack rebuilt. That kind of has to get done. The steering rack is out. I want to do the extinguisher. Not sure when that's gonna happen. The tie rods, that's gonna get done with the steering rack. I don't think the catch can setup's getting done. I don't think I'm gonna have the time to do this. And also I have the brake lines over here, the new ones. Yeah, these. I don't think these are getting done right now either. It might happen after H day, so we'll see. Like always, guys, if you haven't liked this video yet, like the video, drop a comment, and I'll catch you guys on the next update video or the next bigger job that we have to do to the car. Stay motivated and keep making those streets louder.